Hi guys! Recently I suggested I was going to try one of the combat overhaul mods to make life a little bit more difficult for myself, but I've been unable to decide which to pick and how I should install it. And the problem is, both mods sound good. I'm looking at Duel and I'm looking at Deadly Combat. Both mods sound good. Deadly Combat actually sounds more like it's for me, to be honest. It's difficult to just choose between the two, but Deadly Combat seems to have a few things that look interesting for me. However, both mods seem to be... well, there's no concrete description on how to install them with Skyrim. And a lot of people come up with suggestions, and all of it conflicts. Big surprise, eh? So a lot of people say, right, no, just install it with, say, Deadly Combat at the end of your load order, or Deadly Combat needs to come after Skyrim Combat, but before Skyrim Main. Some people say, no, you have to disable Skyrim Combat completely and Skyrim AI completely, and so on. Obviously, this is a little confusing, and at my stage of the game, a little worrying. Of course, I have a lot of perks now. I have perks in Archery, and I have perks in Block. Block is the one that worries me the most. I have two perks that extend timed blocking. Now, if I disable Skyrim Combat, I disable the timed blocking. Now, one of the mods, at least, Deadly Combat, has timed blocking, but it probably doesn't use the Skyrim perks. So, do I just lose those perks, or do the perks work? It's all very difficult. For example, when I go to Deadly Combat and I have a look at the scripts, there is a... where was it? There was a player block. Well, there's an NPC block. Timed blocking script. Assuming this is for the player, it might not be actually. And having a look at it, if the player has perk, it gives a modification, and the perk it seems to base this on is Shield Wall. And depending on what perk you've got, Shield Wall 80, perk mod 0.2, 160, 0.4, and so on. It's a little confusing, but. Sorry, yeah, but Shield Wall 80, Shield Wall 60, Shield Wall... so the more Shield Wall you've got, the better, I assume. Now this looks like a 5 rank perk, whereas for Skyrim, the perks for timed blocks seem to be 2 perks, so I'm guessing that it's not the same perk. Obviously this is going to affect my game quite a lot. Some people have said, oh well, you can install Deadly Combat, but just disable timed blocking in Deadly Combat, for example. So, I mean, that might be an option, but there are probably a lot of other things there, so I have to really look into what the ESP does and, you know, what the scripts themselves do. And my problems for dual combat realism are amplified tenfold because the author didn't include source, so I'm going to have to decompile these to get any idea of how things are running, or whether it's the same sort of thing. So the thing is what I'm saying is, I really do need to do a lot of research into these mods to figure out A, whether it's a good idea for me, whether it's the mod for me, and B, how to get it working with Skyrim without completely, you know, losing all the progress. I mean, I'm assuming things like the bow perks that give me extra damage at certain ranges or stun opponents, I'm assuming they work, but maybe they don't. I mean, if I disable Skyrim Combat, do I still get the stagger bonuses with my short bow? Because if I don't, then I've got a huge amount of perks doing absolutely nothing. I've wasted half my perks. Obviously, that's not good. Now, I can always reset the perks, but then the perks are not... I'm going to have to try and guess what the perks do because I'm using Skyrim main. So you see the complication here. So it's not going to be simple, and I want to know exactly what it's doing before I do this because I don't want to get the save all mangled. So, too long didn't read version for the goldfish out there. I haven't decided which mod to use, if any. So I'm continuing on with just Skyrim right now. So there you go.